Hey everyone, welcome back to On Isles Time. Brendan Yerkes, Cole Healy here with you again as Islanders hockey finally back, preseason underway. Obviously an unofficial game, but we've been waiting a long time. It's been seemingly the longest offseason ever because of all the good things that have happened that we've just been antsy to get back, and finally here we are.
Yeah, definitely. It's great for hockey to be back. Whole bunch of games on Sunday throughout the day. Preseason starting up everywhere, and only one game in so far, but a lot of promising things came out of that game. So looking forward to the second preseason game tonight. Then obviously the regular season on October 9th.
Right. So yeah, today is Tuesday, September 23rd. So if you're listening at a different time, this is after the first preseason game and the day of the second preseason game. So just keep that in mind before, when things happen. But yeah, we've been excited for this. Camp has been going on for about a week now. Rookie camp before that. So storylines coming out of there. So we're gonna break it all down, everything that's gone on from all these camps. Our last episode was in the middle of rookie camp, so the NHL players haven't arrived yet, so we have a lot more to discuss. So before we get into that, make sure to follow us on our social media, including our brand new TikTok account, also sharing the same at as our Instagram and X account. That's at On Isles Time, ONISLESTIME. So On Isles Time, TikTok. We're going to be bringing extra content along with the show and including snippets from the show on there. So it's already been off to a good start. We've been able to connect with some fans on there. So we appreciate anybody that would be listening to this from TikTok. And if you've already been listening, we encourage you to go check out the TikTok account because we're going to keep that growing, as well as all of our other socials. So without that, let's get into the episode today. And I think we have to start out with Matthew Schaefer, don't we?
Definitely.
Right. All right. Rookie camp. We talked about how he was skating super fast and looking better than everybody at rookie camp, like a first overall pick should. So that was step one. Then the real thing starts. NHL players are there. And I think the first thing that stood out to me, at least, because we know how good his skating is, we've talked about it. They were doing the suicides, as Patrick Waugh calls them, whammies. They were on the line. They were doing their skating. And Matthew Schaefer was well ahead of the pack. Every group he was with, he was the first guy. So that's a test to his conditioning and his skating ability, and that, you know what, he's different than the rest of these guys.
Definitely, yeah, and just he obviously went so long last year without playing a game. So he's obviously had a lot of he had to recover from the collarbone injury, and then he's just been waiting for a game situation since then. Just yeah, so much time for conditioning, and then now it's obviously you're seeing the result of all that work that he put in over the summer. And yeah, like it's impressive because again, it's not like this is rookie camp, it's not dev camp. Like these are NHL guys. These are guys that are going to be on the team the entire year, and he's just blowing past them. And that's obviously there's more to hockey than just that, right? But that's just such a promising sign from a guy who just turned 18.
He's antsy to get back, as you mentioned, and it also goes to the On the Island doc when he said in his pre-draft interview, they asked him, how is he able to seemingly keep energy for so long, and at the end of the shift look like it's the beginning of a shift, and it just goes to his love to the game and his commitment to working hard. But we've seen him do some things well in practice, but then I think everybody really wanted to see him in a game situation in the Islander uniform in the 48. And there he was at UBS Arena Sunday night. He was paired with Scott Mayfield. He got the start. The fans that were actually there gave him a nice roar, and you saw a lot of good things, and obviously still some rookie mistakes, and it's going to be like that. So I'm encouraging people to, you know, be patient here, because I know we all want him to come in and do a lot of things, and we expect him to, but there's going to be bumps in the road, especially as a defenseman. It's much harder to develop as a defenseman than a forward. So he takes 2 penalties in the game, and I think nerves. It was early on, trying to you know figure things out. And I know he's going to say he said he had no nerves going in. He just was excited to play, but obviously it's there. It has to be there. First time in the NHL, first time in front of the home crowd. Um, Overall, a lot more good, and a lot of it in that first preseason game. Something to look forward to.
Definitely, yeah. It was impressive. Like he looks like he belongs, which is honestly the biggest thing. Like you said, these rookie mistakes are going to happen, right? There's the turnover before the first goal, 2 penalties. Like that's just going to happen. There's a learning curve. Obviously, junior's a lot different than the NHL. Uh, but with everything else that he showed, like I'm not worried.
I
Like if
think
he
the
stays
biggest
in
thing
that,
in junior is that you can get away with more.
yeah,
You
definitely.
could skate through a couple guys. You could force that pass because it's a different game. It's younger kids. It's more open. Now it's the defense. It's much more skilled. So you have to kind of pick and choose. And I think he learned on that first one. It was like a deep stretch from his own end, and it got intercepted. And it wasn't like a direct. Like it took like a few seconds. Like it wasn't like it was immediate. But turning over the puck goes the other way. Didn't do anything like that again. Was a little bit smarter with his decisions, I think, from that point on. And the things that are going to happen, like again, this team, you got to be patient with him and a lot of the other young guys. But overall, really good defensively, I think. Aside from that, had a few hits, a few breaking up some rushes with the stick, and he just looks lanky. He looks much taller on the ice in that game than I feel like he has at practice. I don't know if it's different because it's like you're used to seeing the UBS on the TV screen and seeing all the other guys around him, and just like in that setting, just with the regular non-practice jersey on, he just looked like bigger than I thought, and just like his stick had a long reach too.
Yeah, I agree. Like I think he's listed at 6'2", and like I'm watching that game, and yeah, he does not look 6'2", like you said, with the pass he made before the goal. Probably get away with that in juniors, not at the NHL level, but that's okay. He didn't do it again the rest of the game. That's just part of the process. It's part of the learning curve. So yeah, like you said, it'd be better as for the fans to not get on him too quickly. Let him take like he's got to be the youngest player. Yeah, there's no way there's anyone younger than him that's going to be playing at any point this year. So it's just yeah, definitely encouraging the fans just be patient. Don't get on him too hard over small stuff like that. Like he's gonna be fine. I think most fans know that, but you got some people who it's been a long time since there's been a cup on Long Island, and they're ready. So yeah, some people I feel like are gonna be a little a little quick. Yeah, I feel like the majority of fans will take it easy with him.
And there's been a lot of positives. I mean, he had 5 shots on net in this game. I think he was just ripping it. He obviously had the assist off a shot, one-time slap shot that one looked nice, and then perfectly sets up Paul Mary with that shot off the pad. Situational hockey, and he was looking for it. I mean, he almost scored. He had a 2-on-0 chance with Horvat. The puck got intercepted by the Flyers back checker. He had a couple good looks in overtime. I think one poked away. He did get a shot on net at one point, so he was looking for it, and he almost had a breakaway. I'm pretty sure, maybe like like an in a lone rush, if not a breakaway. I don't think it was a breakaway, but that was nice to see. But I think the big thing everyone was talking about was in overtime. He was a little out of position, but it's overtime. You're cycling around. It's different. Getting a good chance, and then Mishkov ends up all alone, has a head start, and I get he was backwards a little bit, and not going full steam ahead because he's still waiting to get the puck. But the fact that Schaefer was like at a zone and a half behind him and caught up and smacked the puck away, it was clean. I don't, some people are like, oh, it's a hook. It was definitely, stick on stick, a little physicality. And he stole the puck and went right back up. That was impressive, just how fast he's able to move out there. So that's kind of gone viral, that clip. And then immediately, like I said, picks up the puck, looks up the ice, tries to get a 3-on-2 the other way. The Islanders end up losing this game 3-2. We'll talk about more things that happened there, but again, I'm not really concerned with the score in the preseason game where it's half AHL players. So there were things that I wanted to see in that game, and I saw them.
Definitely, yeah. And back to the back check, right? I remember there was a point in the blue and white scrimmage. It was the exact same thing. He's all the way down, went up with the offense, and then puck turns around, and then he's just flying back, and he catches up to whoever it was. I don't remember. It was like a 2-on-1 the other way, and he caught up. But it was the same thing in the blue and white scrimmage where that happened. And then also just that first, like his first shift of the game. Like you said, him and Mayfield started, and it's like he he I believe he's just running a give and go. I don't know if it was Barzell. I don't remember who it was. But like that first shift, like he's joining the rush. Like that's just we haven't had that in so long.
And with that, the breakouts just look so clean, like and so crisp. Like dump behind the net, him and Mayfield switch and then reverse and pass to the winger. It's out of the zone, and then like you said, joining the rush. It's just like that was what Dobson was supposed to be doing. It just wasn't to the efficiency. There always be a turnover, a lost puck. Like, and again, it's one preseason game against half AHLers, but it's the hockey IQ that excites you because he has the skating, which is obviously the most important. He has the skill, but he has the mind and the drive to do it. So you're seeing him. These plays are moving in his head, quicker than anybody else. So once he fills out his frame and gets stronger, because that's another thing that, the critique is that I think he got knocked over a few times, which we knew that he needs to bulk up. He just turned 18. That'll come with time also, but he has the vision and the smarts to be an elite player in this league. And again, after one preseason game, don't want to jump the gun too much, but to see it in an Islander uniform on the ice in a, again, though not official NHL game, but an NHL game is everything.
Yeah, it's
And
very
gets people
exciting.
excited for sure.
Yeah, and then I feel like another thing that a lot of people are looking forward to, was obviously Schaefer's the big rookie name, right? First overall pick, that's expected. And then Maxim Shabanov, who I guess confirmed that it is Shabanov. I believe we were
Right.
calling him
I was going to bring that
Shabanov.
up too. We said
Yeah, just
Shabanov. Sorry to Max for that. We just
yeah. So
assumed.
yeah, it was a little that's expected. Kaprizov, same kind of
Yeah, I
same
thought
kind of
like
thing
the
there.
on off, like I don't know, but
Anyway,
on off, it's different.
right. And I know Patrick Waugh announced, I believe it was at the golf outing, that it was going to be Shabanov, Horvat, and Drouin on the first line. And so we got our first look at them the other night. I feel like it took them a little bit to kind of get used to each other. I did notice Shabanov, um, like early on. It wasn't not in the same way as Schaefer, I feel like. Like he was making good plays. He wasn't wowing me, I'd say. Then I know in the third period he made that nice move. I don't know if it was against Drysdale. I don't remember who it was on. But kind of circling the zone, brought it through his legs. He looked fine. Like he's small, but he really doesn't look as small as like we've heard.
I'm with you there. He definitely looks bigger. I was concerned he'd be like, you'd notice it, almost like a Zuccarello type, because that's when I think a small guy in the NHL, that's where my mind goes first. And he was really small, like you could tell. Now he looks, because he's like, he seems like he's like bigger, like like he's shorter, like, and not super short, like you're saying, like he seems taller than like they give him credit for, but he doesn't seem like he's like paper thin, like he's got like the muscle to him, because he's obviously older. He's like 24, so he's already at that point. But that line, like you said, they need time to adjust, and I think him getting the shot in the first line to start just shows how special he could be. But I like what I've seen so far, but remember, he's got to adjust to the smaller rink in North America too. So that's something that I don't know if you were going to mention that. I think will be a part of the growing pain. So again, patience is key here.
Definitely, yeah. And I'm assuming it was Wall that was talking about how he was saying he noticed him kind of going like south more, like east west rather than just straight ahead, right? And I know he compared it to what Siplikov was doing last year early on. And yeah, I mean that's expected because the in Russia and then really anywhere out in Europe where they got the bigger ice, I believe it's
It's
100
more
feet wide.
soccerish. Like you could
Yeah,
just break it down and like regroup it, cycle it around, and then like go.
right. Yeah, it's like another because NHL rinks are 85 feet wide. Out in Europe, it's all 100. So a lot more like there's less dumping and chasing, obviously, because the bigger sheet, like you mentioned, kind of circle back and regroup. But yeah, that's gonna come with time. He's just gonna like I think him and being with Horvat and Drouin will help him because obviously those are two established guys. Drouin can fly. Horvat, I feel like Horvat's speed is very underrated. Like
When
he
he gets
can
going,
when he turns it on, he can
right?
fly.
Takes him a little while sometimes, because like it's the buildup. Like once he's at top speed, straight line speed, he can go. But it's not like Barzell where it's like bam, he's instantaneous. But no, he could pick it up. And Drouin too. Like this, when have we seen a line this fast on the
Yeah,
Islanders? It's been a while. Is it
been a
like
while,
Everly, Beauvillier, Barzell from Barzell's
right?
rookie
And
year?
even then, like Everly wasn't the quickest guy.
Right. But like that's the last one I could think of that had this
Yeah,
type of speed that could like change a game, or I guess not even change a game, but keep pace in today's NHL.
definitely. But yeah, so they weren't like super impactful, I'd say, but that's fine. Give him a little bit of time. I did start to notice Shabanov more later on in the game. He looked comfortable. No, obviously just some of the stuff with the systems. That's what training camp's for. He's gonna adjust to that, adjust to the new ice. But I feel like there's a lot of fans that were very concerned about his size. Like, yeah, he's small, but I don't think it's anything too significant because he looked fine.
He blended in more than I thought he would. Like you just look at the team and like, oh, I thought, like I said before, you thought he was going to be super, super small, but it's really not that big of a difference. he should be
definitely.
able to
Yeah.
hold his own. And from the reports out of camp, there's like, they say he does things like Kucherov. Not that he's like going to be Kucherov, but you know, if you get half of that, and you're like, or Kaprizov, like all those comparisons, like the skilled, like smaller Russian, watch
Yeah.
out. And the Islanders really would have hit a home run here. So fingers crossed on that one. But him getting a chance with the first line right away is a good sign because he seems like he's like a boomer bust. Like he's not going to be able to play a bottom six like Siplikov. So here's to hoping it works out because then that's a franchise type player. Just you got for free, like not even out of the draft, just like by him choosing you and because of opportunity. That's why he signed here. So
Absolutely.
that's something. And also, I want to keep in mind with that line and chemistry. This preseason game was only like 3 days into training camp. It was very, very quick in. So, they're going to get more practice time together. We're going to talk about special teams soon because that's a big thing with the new coaches. And, the Islanders last year probably make the playoffs with league average special teams. And it's just the truth. And obviously injuries too. So there's no reason that they can't make that jump. And Drouin was supposed to be a help to that. He was on pace for a lot of goals last year. Got to hope he stays healthy. I know that's been his issue the last little while, but I've liked what I've seen from him so far, like you mentioned with his speed, and I really think that'll be good chemistry, and especially having him on the power play with his shot and to be able to improve things. But again, I'm staying patient with the power play too. Now, I'm not going to cause a stir until it gets into the regular season and doesn't look great because obviously it didn't look too great the other night, but they've only been working on it for like a day and it's been 4 days of training camp. So, give it time with that and eventually the reaction will be justified. But I guess before we get more into that, as far as the preseason game, I also want to mention the return of Matt Barzal because he hasn't played a game. And did he play at all in 2025 or did he get hurt again? It still, I guess he had
I feel
to
like,
have.
yeah, because it was I believe it was the game where D'Angelo scored in overtime in Tampa.
Yes,
I think that
yes,
was the game he got hurt.
right.
Yeah, that was
So
like February.
we haven't seen him in a while, and these injuries, took a toll on him. But I'm pleased to say, just by seeing this game and what we've seen from camp, that he looks like the Matt Barzal we all know and love. So that's a positive for sure. That we're not going to have to be worried about that, and that he can come in. And they look like the most established line so far. Him centering Lee and Palmieri because they've played together before. So Barzal, obviously a key of this team as well. Right now at center, maybe that changes, but good to see that.
Yeah, I know, like we talked about last episode, a lot of people were concerned with that quote from him about how he doesn't know if he'll ever feel 100% again. Um, Again, obviously it's preseason, right? Like I don't want to be like, oh, well, he's, like to have anything set in stone and like guarantee anything, right? Because again, it is preseason. It's not against full NHL teams, but just the way he played, like he looks like himself again. Like the skating, didn't notice a difference at all. I feel like yeah, he was doing a lot of regrouping in the offensive zone, circling around as we always see him do. It's just good to see him back, like you said. It's been a while since he's played. Yeah, he's looking good. He's looking back to normal, which that's going to be huge for this team. And then, like you said with Drouin, it's the same thing. If he can stay healthy this year, then that's obviously going to be key. Um, I know we both think that this team can make it will be in the mix for the playoffs. Yeah, Barzal being healthy for the whole year is going to be a big part of that.
It always seems like overreaction after 4 days of camp and one preseason game, but it's just this is what we have to discuss so far. Everything looks good. Like things are going to change. It's not going to be all perfect throughout the season, obviously, but you got to give yourself a chance. And Barzell being healthy right now, Schaefer looking good. It's just things to look forward to. But obviously, things will change. All right, Matt Maggio was something that's been a topic this entire camp because he's kind of been at the forefront of the prospects. He's a little bit older, kind of taking a leadership role among them, and he played well, I think, in the preseason game, and he looks good in the practices. When I was there the other day, I was at the open practice Saturday. We were watching the AHL guys, and his hands look good. His shot looked pretty good from what I saw, along with a few others like Gleb Veremyev, bigger guy. So some of these guys looking pretty good, like Jeffries too. But Maggio's kind of taking the forefront. And he has the skating, and obviously he's going to go down to Bridgeport. But you got to think maybe he could, with Rocky Thompson and getting the enjoyment back, that he could maybe turn into something. But I know he's been featured a lot at this training camp.
Definitely, yeah. And I know I don't know, I believe it was last episode as well, 'cause rookie camp. It would be. I would like to see him get a shot at some point again. Who knows if that's this year or a couple years down the line. But yeah, like you said, older guy. He's been around a couple years now. He was drafted in what, 22?
Yes, 22.
Yeah, like it's he's got that bond with Schaefer already because through their mutual friend they kind of knew each other a little bit. But it's good to see that. Like, I think he was the captain in Windsor in the OHL, so he's just kind of carrying that over to training camp now. Yeah, like I've been not super high on him obviously because the prospect pool just wasn't great, but like not to say he's not a solid prospect. So who knows what becomes of him? Like you said, with Rocky having Rocky Thompson now in Bridgeport, they're not going to be a dumpster fire this year, which will be a nice change. So it'd be good to see him kind of get top 6 minutes in Bridgeport, see what he can do with that, and then yeah, who knows? Maybe a call up this year.
Yep. And moving on to more storylines from the preseason game, David Riddick started the game, gave up a not so great goal, but settled in from that point on for the half a game that he played. And expectation is we'd probably assume that he's going to be the backup with Varlamov, whatever's going on there. But Varlamov's been on the ice, so I don't really know. But I think we got to assume it's going to be Riddick to start.
Yeah, I think Waugh. I don't know if he specifically said it. I think he said you could expect Riddick to be backing up at least for the start of the season. Yeah, the goal wasn't great, but I mean outside of that, he made a couple nice saves. He's again preseason. I feel like
Pads
you
are
gotta.
beautiful.
Yes, yeah, I love the setups with the sticks on them. We haven't really had that. We haven't really had that kind of style from any goalies for a
You think
while.
Lou wouldn't have allowed that?
Yeah, I don't know.
He
It's
allowed
tough
the
to say.
goalies to have helmets with stuff on them.
Yeah, I know because I mean Halak always had the like the clawed out pads, but obviously his last year was right before Lou's first year. Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like that would have been a something Lou would really
Yeah, I think that would be
control.
okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean it was Halak was the last like I feel like notable style, and then before that probably DiPietro.
Well,
But yeah,
now we're
that's
getting into
getting off
that.
topic. Yeah, outside of the goal, Riddick looked fine. So I know he had a bad year last year. So hoping he can bounce back this year as Sorokin's backup.
But it was just funny. It was a perfect Islander game. They gave up a goal in the last minute with the empty net. They lost in a shootout that I believe was, 11 rounds?
11, yeah,
I mean, Luca Romano was awesome.
yeah, that was a very nice goal.
So, something nice to see. D'Angelo scored in the shootout. I mean, it'll be different. I don't know. Don't want to overcomplicate it. You can't score them all. Everybody got their chance. But that happened. Keishon Aitchison, we were concerned. Thank goodness he's okay. He getting a hit knee on knee center ice. Did not like that hit at all. I think that was pretty dirty, if you ask me. I get they got kind of caught with each other, but the knee on knee is ugly to see. So we fear the worst there, but he's okay, and he'll be getting back in tonight. So I think we all have high hopes for him with what we've seen and him falling in the draft. He's like a top 12 rated prospect by the team, and you know we got the expectation is he's going to play tonight, and you probably get sent back to junior because, um, you know, you want them to be involved with their junior team where they're going to spend the whole year. I think people were upset that Luca Romano got sent back and Thomas Polatine and Burke Hood, which he was extra goalie, but he wasn't ready for preseason. But this was happening anyways. People were freaking out. I'm like, Luca Romano was playing in junior this year. Don't you want him to, have an impact on junior training camp and be involved with that team? He got a taste of the preseason. The Islanders saw him for like a week and a half, and it's like, all right, we'll see you next year. It's no hard feelings. That was the expectation. So he goes. And I don't think people understand that. So that's going to happen with Aitchison. He's going to play tonight. Islanders got him for 2 weeks, and then he's probably going to get sent back to Barrie, where he's going to be, probably, a leader on that team. He had 30 goals last year, and hopefully take another big step, clean up his game defensively a little bit, clean up his hitting a little bit, because obviously he's a crazy hitter, but I know he can get into some questionable ones sometimes. So, another year of development, maturity, and then come back next year, and then we'll see what happens. So, Aitchison, but you can tell he needs a seasoning, but, being young, you like what you see so far.
Yeah, it's a good showing for him the other night. Obviously hoping for the same thing tonight. So no injuries this time around.
Right. And Marshall Warren, we'll just mention quick, he was great. I spoke to him actually in Bridgeport. I think it was his first game. I got to speak to him, after the game about what it was like, being an Islander fan and playing for, Bridgeport. Obviously not the NHL team at that point. So he was thrilled about that, and now getting the chance to do this and score for the NHL Islanders got to be awesome for him. But now with the way he's playing, he's impressing some people, in the Islanders brass and just fans alike. So I don't expect him to be on the NHL roster. Obviously, he's going to be in Bridgeport, but somebody to keep in mind, given injuries or somebody's not cutting it. Marshall Warren might be towards the top of the list to potentially be called up.
Definitely, yeah. More of a because I believe he was at Michigan right before the Islanders had signed him. Talked to one of my buddies. I don't watch a ton of college hockey. I'm trying to watch some more now. I had a friend who was at Michigan that year. Said he was good on the power play there. So who knows if we unfortunately have injuries that would force him up. Could see kind of like obviously it's a different situation with Adam Boqvist last year. We claimed him off waivers, but who knows? We need some type of some guy to fill that kind of role. Marshall Warren could be the guy, which would be really cool because I'm trying to think. I don't know if there's anyone from Long Island to play or from Long Island that was an Islander fan to play for the Islanders. Obviously,
Yeah,
Palmer. I don't
I
think
know
he
there
was
was
around.
somebody a long time ago. I think 70s or 80s. I don't exactly know who. I don't know the full story, but again, to be an Islander fan and do it, they almost got Higgins like we talked about last week. But
Yes,
it's just it's good, and we want Bridgeport to be good too. So having a guy like him down there is big, and I think that kind of goes to our next point is Cal Ritchie. So he didn't play in the first game; he's playing tonight. But we want to see Cal Ritchie, develop properly. There's no space on the roster for him in the NHL right now. Seemingly, if he plays his way into a spot, we'll see. But all things are pointing to him being in Bridgeport to start, and you want them to be competitive. You want close games because a lot of them they'd be up 3-0 or down 3-0. It'd be back and forth. It was crazy. Competitive games, even if they don't win them all, to win some, be in it and get that proper development. Having a good power play. He's great on the power play, so maybe him and Warren could be cooking something up and help their development. So Bridgeport's important for I think it's underrated in this the way people look at it. I know there are a lot of people that say Bridgeport needs to be better, but we want to see that AHL team do well and develop these guys as they get sent down there, because in the next week or so it's going to be more and more that get sent either back to junior or down to the AHL. So Richie, I think, is the biggest one and probably the best Islander prospect that'll be playing in Bridgeport in probably like 5 years, really, since well, I guess maybe like 3 or 4, like what Holmstrom and Wallstrom are the
yeah,
last like two big ones, I guess, to have been down there.
yeah. Because it was Dobson obviously never played in Bridgeport. Yeah,
And
I
I'm
mean
talking like higher picks.
Ravello's like yeah,
Yeah, like
Holmstrom as
Maggio
well.
obviously has been down there. He had success, but like and Dufour, but they were both late round picks. Like they kind of
Right.
turned it on after they were drafted, so a little bit different.
Yeah.
So another guy, I think this is kind of towards the end of our discussion because that's I think pretty much everything we wanted to cover from the preseason game and camp so far, just with other storylines. But Emil Heineman, I know he's supposed to be a big piece of this bottom six, and Darch was very happy to get him, but haven't heard his name really at all during this camp. And now he's going to get a shot to play tonight. I know like these preseason games, you're doing like half AHL, half NHL, and it's going to be different. Maybe towards the end, it'll be mostly the NHL players in, but for now, it feels odd. Haven't really heard him, seen anything from practice with him, but again, tonight we'll get a taste of what he can do.
Definitely. And yeah, that line of Heineman, Ritchie, and Holmstrom. I know we talked about it before we started recording. There's a tweet about that's a very real possibility for the third line after the trade deadline if JG Pajot gets moved. Obviously, that would be cool to see Ritchie, get I don't want to say a permanent spot, but get a spot on the NHL roster. Playing with two guys, obviously younger, but they've had a little bit of experience up in the NHL. I feel like that would just be a good energy line. Chipping offensively, like that's like an ideal third line if everyone, kind of pans out the way they're expected to.
Energy is the perfect word because we could tell this Darch administration with while wanting to play that way, speed, energy, intensity is the way they want to do it, and Heineman perfectly encapsulates that. And he's got a tremendous shot. I saw Holmstrom said that today, getting a fellow Swede in the team, with his shot being tremendous and just we saw a little bit of it in Montreal, but obviously cut short with the injury last year. So hopefully, could be unleashed and be a good guy down there for the Islanders to have. But I just want to see what he's going to be able to do because haven't heard much about him, and I'm not worried about him or anything like that. But just it's been quiet on that front. But I think that's everything we've seen from camp thus far. We're gonna get back to it soon and discuss things. But in other news of things surrounding the team that we've seen in the last little while, Danny Nelson going to his third year at Notre Dame, going to be a co-captain. I don't really get the concept of a co-captain, but it's always good to see these Islanders getting leadership positions in other places. So he could be a guy that I would think after this year is coming to the Islanders, whether he's ready and there's a spot for him to come right to the NHL. I don't think so, but probably finished up the year with Bridgeport. So something nice to see there.
Definitely, yeah. And I believe Cole Eiserman got an A for BU. So again, like you said, just good to see these guys get some kind of leadership. I do want to mention one more thing. I meant to bring it up earlier. I forgot about it, about Schaefer. I believe it was Cam Robinson said he spoke to someone with someone like he didn't say obviously which team, didn't say who it was, but I believe the way he phrased it was an NHL like affiliated someone in the front office somewhere, whether that's the Islanders, the Flyers, or another team completely, said that after watching Schaefer play that first game, they think he could be a top pair guy right out of the gate. Which I don't know if I'd want to do that. I don't know if I want to rush him, immediately. I like that him being on a pair with Mayfield, but that just shows like it's not just the fans that are getting excited. It's these people in management, and like we keep saying, we said it all summer. It's just it's so different for this team, and it's just so exciting to see.
To have a guy like this, like when the Islanders had this, like a top elite prospect to be this excited about, that's now the face of the franchise. And now, we've discussed it all year, all summer, and now it's time. Like it's time to see it, and we are starting to, and it's a lot of fun. And with that, he's not gonna like. Let's hope he means like they're not starting him out as a top pairing defenseman, but maybe sooner rather than later, sooner than we may think he's ready for it. But they're going to take it easy because there's no reason to force anything or rush anything and have him carry the team. So start out slow and then get him comfortable, have him play well, and then evaluate based on your needs and situation, as it goes on.
Absolutely, yeah. And if he can even become 70% of what his absolute ceiling may be, then we're in for a special player. So
absolutely,
just good times ahead.
And the Islanders have been looking for that elite defenseman ever since Dennis Potvin retired. So they've had some good ones, but nobody this good. So I think the core of that is in place and exciting to see. But one more thing we're going to mention. So MSG Network said that Thomas Hickey is going to be the lead analyst now for the Islanders games, and Butch Goring's still around and he wants to be, which is great to see. He's not kind of getting forced out the door, but probably I would think he's going to do the home games. We could probably assume, and then just be involved with other stuff, when he wants to be, which is good that they're kind of giving him a little bit of a back seat just because he's getting older. Hickey's rising up. You don't want to lose him, and he's amazing. So congrats to Hickey and to Cal Clutterbuck, who will be on I think every single broadcast this year too as a full timer. So getting the Islanders of more recent memory into the booth, but still keeping Butchie's charm around. So should be another great year of broadcasts.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, MSG is always just great. Yeah, I believe they said Butch will be doing like a lot, like he'll be doing some studio stuff this year. I'm sure that'll just be with Shannon. And then yeah, he'll also be in the booth for probably a decent bit of home games. So yeah, definitely looking forward to having Hickey and Clutterbuck around, full time the whole year.
Should be a lot of fun. But training camp has been a lot of fun so far. Preseason, this will be out probably either during the Islanders Devils preseason game or shortly after. So we apologize for the timing on that, but now that's how it's going to be. We're in the season, so everything's going to become out of date pretty quick. Islanders playing 2-3 games a week for the next bunch of months, so it's where we want it to be. We're gonna for now we're kind of doing the every other week thing. We'll see how we do with things maybe picking up, but to fill in the cracks of that, we're going to be posting on social media, covering the team, reactions, stuff like that. So we're excited for that. But that's going to do it for episode 9 of On Isles Time. Make sure to follow us on all of our social medias on Instagram, X, and now our TikTok at On Isles Time. And that's going to do it. So everybody, enjoy the rest of the preseason. We'll talk to you soon.